Welcome back to another episode of Between the Reps. I'm your host, Granger, and I'm excited for another episode and some more time I get to just spend with you guys and share my story. If you missed last week's episode, it was great. Just kind of went into a deep dive of my life and some of the things that I've gone through. And I hope that this week in this episode, I can really give you guys some insight into the steps that I took to help out my life and better the life for my future and now ultimately my family. These simple steps you can take each and every day, no matter your situation, and apply those to that situation to kind of help you navigate some of the things that you're dealing with and struggling with. So that is that. This is Between the Reps. Let's get right into it. How was everybody's weekend? I know for us, I'm recording this on Sunday, so it's kind of the end of the weekend. And we have had a few just lazy weekends. I don't know if you guys kind of get in that mode where you're just kind of understanding that not every weekend you have to be doing something. You don't always have to have plans. So it's nice to kind of take a step back and just be able to deal with some stuff around the house. Got the yard ready, mulched, mowed. I know those are exciting things as we grow and get a little older, but it was fun to just kind of kick back and just enjoy time with the fam. I know May is a busy month for us. It is race week going into this week, so I'm excited to give you guys some content on that and just some of the things that I'll be doing in regards to my nutrition and what a taper week looks like. So tune into some of my other socials. I'll be able to give you guys an insight on that. But we are running the Cap City Half Marathon. So this is going to be my first half. I did a full back in October, but the half is going to be a challenge. It's going to be something that I've actually prepared for this time, and my training has been pretty dialed. So I'm excited to see kind of how my time is. I'm not for sure what I want it to be. I've kind of have a number in my head, but we'll see. It's supposed to rain, but hey, it's all perspective and how you look at it. So we'll see what we got going on there. The girls this weekend, they were a lot of fun. It was raining outside, so we were just inside hanging out, wrestling around, just playing. It was good to just have quality, intentional time with them and see how they're growing and they're maturing in their own ways. It's been kind of a thing of beauty to see, and I'm excited to just continue to watch their growth. I know our oldest, she's getting so big so fast, and I can't believe she's going to be 2 years old this year. And being a dad has brought so much joy out of my life and my heart. I'm just really excited for that moment. I'm excited to go about time with them and just learn about being a dad and being present in their lives. Mentally, I think right now I'm in a good place mentally. I think the past few weeks I've really dialed in a lot of different things that I've wanted to work on. So just having the clarity has been huge for me. Being able to just step back and see that my life is so fortunate and I'm so incredibly blessed to be in the position that I'm in has been such a journey and such a miracle for me, I think, to look back on some of the places I've been. But I'm good. Honestly, not having the stress, I think too, has been a huge part of where I'm at mentally right now. We don't have kind of any crazy outside forces. So being able to kind of really focus on our fitness and focus on the girls and work and not have a lot of outside noise coming internally has been night and day. Really, really good for me. I think my current thoughts right now too on the world and my life. Um, we're in a kind of crazy time, I think, is not to get too political, but we're definitely in a crazy time. And no matter what you believe in, I think it's important to just sit back and reflect on just us understanding that we have an obligation and responsibility to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. It is our duty to be examples in our community for doing the right thing and showing up for the right reasons, not just for yourself, but also for those around you. Let's bring people along. Let's encourage people, and let's continue to just have a abundance of clarity and just understand that we can't control a lot of the things that go on in our lives, but the things that we can control, let's just dial in those and just understand that we're so much better when we're together. So that's that. Not to get too dramatic and political. That's not what this show is. That's not what it's ever going to be about, but definitely have to address some things that are going on at times, because at the end of the day, we have to be the ones that stand for something, and we have to speak out for things that aren't right. So let's continue to be examples and understand that, like I said, it's our responsibility to be an example for those around us and to bring people along with us. My thought and quote of the week is, I'm not there yet, but I'm not there anymore. I think this stood out to me because everyone starts somewhere. No matter how you grew up, no matter what demographic you're from, no matter your social economical status, no matter what it is, everyone starts at a certain place. It's up to us to take advantage of the opportunities that are given to us and capitalize on those. I'm still pushing to be the best version of myself that I can be. I'm by no means where I want to be in my life. Just being appreciative of the process and what I have gone through and the ability that I have to continuously evolve and to continuously change is something that you can't take for granted. Everybody has that opportunity. Everybody controls their story and has the power to not only change the dynamic of their life, but also change a generational dynamic of their family and what situation they came from, bring their siblings along with them, change how their parents see life, change how their kids see life, and be able to not only enjoy the process, but to enjoy the things that you get to do on a day-to-day basis. And I think that leads perfectly into today's topic and why that the title is what it is. That's just some brief things that I've used, and by no means am I an expert, to just help me on my path to change. And what worked for me isn't going to work for someone else. But I think these few points you can take and apply and use in different ways to maximize your potential. And I think everyone wants to change, but very few people are willing to do what it takes to actually get to the place they want to be. What I've learned during that is, number one, is you have to address the problem. Self-reflection and doing that alone, whether you're in a healthy relationship or not, you have to take that time to reflect on your life by yourself. No one else can do the work for you. No one else can understand the things that are going on inside of your brain and the situations that you're in and some of the things that you're dealing with internally. You can talk to people and you can express how you feel, but no one truly is going to understand what you're going through in that moment in time. I think you have to get honest with yourself. You have to be able to have the hard conversations with yourself and be able to sit down for a moment and just address the problems that you have. What's not working? What are you avoiding? I think this is something that I struggled with for such a long time. I would put things off until they became a big issue. And I think my biggest things, I had to look at what my behaviors were in relationships, how I treated others, and how I could understand myself before even beginning to develop a relationship with someone. So whatever your problem is, whether it's an addiction, whether it's gambling, whether it's something that is creating negative patterns in your life, you have to be able to address that. No one's going to address that for you. You can have people reach out to you and tell you the things that you're doing wrong or the things that are going wrong in your life. But until you realize that you have a problem and you're struggling with something, the issue will go unresolved. Once you've addressed those problems, you've figured out, okay, take me for example. I had an issue with relationships and just being in a constant reactive state and just always wanting or longing for more, whether that was in a relationship or getting bored with the person I was with, and just the bad patterns that came with that, and going out all the time and drinking and doing cocaine and just really being in a negative spot with myself was a constant battle. I would do fine for a little bit and then I would just revert back to the issues at hand. And what I needed to do next, which brings me to point number two, was remove myself from the negative situations, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a group of friends, whether that's the environments that you put yourself in, whether those are the habits that you've built during this stretch of time where you're constantly dealing with the issue that you've found to be the problem. I think that's the hardest part, is being able to say no and remove yourself from those situations. I know for me, there was a group of certain people that I would constantly hang out with. And then, like I mentioned in episode one, I'd be out to 4 or 5 in the morning. I'd constantly be out drinking, doing things that were affecting my health physically and mentally, which in turn affected my relationships with my significant others at the times, my friends, and being able to take yourself out of that situation and remove yourself and being able to look at the bigger picture, you start to see like, wow, you stop doing X, you stop doing Y, you stop doing Z. Your life kind of starts to get better. You start to see some change. You start feeling better. I know once I stopped drinking all the time and going out and being in that scene, my physical health started getting a little better. I started to see things in my life started getting better. My finances, the way I thought and the way I interacted with people and I treated people really started to change for the better. Was I by any means fixed? No. I was just 1/3 of the way through the issue, but you start to see some positive momentum in your life. You start to see some good things happening to you. So being able to take a step back and look at the situation big picture and remove yourself from those negative things truly helped me get to the point of, okay, this is where I need to continue to find something I'm passionate about, which brings me to number three. What did I want to do in life? What did I like? What did I enjoy? And it didn't have to be perfect. It didn't have to be exactly what I wanted to do at the time, but it needed to be something that got me excited, got me out of bed in the morning. And I think for me was movement and being able to go back to Zanesville and grow something with my friends organically and my fitness. And being able to take that obsession on going out and having that feeling that everybody wanted to hang out with me, everyone wanted to be around me, because that's what it gets into when you're going out constantly. People start to know you. You're fun to be around. But is that real purpose and passion? That was just something I was searching for, was a quick fix and just the attention of being out and being about and people wanting to be around me. It felt good. And you get so caught up in that feeling of, wow, this is nice. People like me. People love being around me. I'm a good time. I'm the center of attention. But in reality, like, you were the center of attention for the wrong things. So I had to take that and just turn it into something that I was truly passionate about. And like I said, it was growing something with my friends and being able to be a part of something during that time, and really taking a whole new level of obsession with my fitness, and not just physically, but like mentally and from a nutrition standpoint, just completely changing my body and getting back to being kind of like that athlete that I grew up being. And my passion is what kept me consistent. My passion for showing up for my friends and making sure I wasn't hungover at work, or I wasn't coked out, or I was making sure that I was holding up my end of the bargain. And yeah, at times was it everything I wanted to do? No. Sometimes it sucked, and sometimes it was a grind, but at the end of the day, it's what gave me the path and gave me the vision of kind of how I wanted my life to be. And it helped me grow a new relationship with some guys that have been in my life for a long time. And I think that relationship was fractured because I was just not a good person. And I wasn't an example of what I grew up being. And they just completely showed me a new energy and a new found purpose for my life. And I owe a lot to them. To feel physically healthy again too was just such a passion, and you had so much life and energy because I was going to the gym every day. I was running. I was really taking care of my nutrition, eating right, and I had a structure, which that takes you to point 4 is creating a plan. And what does that mean exactly? And it's not writing down A, B, C, D, goal 1, goal 2, goal 3. It's kind of structuring your life. What do you want your life to be? And for me, that was not just wishful thinking, actually holding myself accountable for the things I said I was going to do. So if I'm going to go to the gym Monday through Friday, I'm at the gym every morning, Monday through Friday. I'm setting myself up for success by making sure that I'm going to get up. I'm going to create this daily habit of Granger goes to the gym every single morning. Granger is at work on time every single morning. Granger is focused at work every single morning. Granger is at home. He's not going to Columbus. Granger is doing the things that Granger is supposed to do because Granger said he was going to do these. And creating that confidence in myself that I show up, I do what I say I'm going to do, has helped me beyond measures, has helped me so much that it's second nature. I just wake up. I tell somebody I'm going to do something. I show up and I do it. I make sure that I am willing to do the necessary things to make sure that I'm intentional on how I'm living my life. And I think a big thing with that is you have to be willing to try something different. So if I went from zero structure in my life to this was a breakdown of my day, just to give it. I'd go work at the bar. I'd go out after I was off on Monday. Be out till 3, 4 in the morning. Tuesday, Wednesday, try to recover. Wouldn't really work at the bar. Then Thursday I'd work at the bar. Friday I work at the bar. And every single night, one of those nights, I was out till 2, 3 a.m. Then Saturday, I was out, wouldn't work, would go out at night, was out till 4 or 5 a.m., who knows how long. That was my habit. That was my weekly structure. So I had to completely flip my mindset in the situation that I was in. So now I'm at work by 7 a.m. every day. I'm going to the gym every day. And for a kid that's 27, 28 years old at the time, it was humbling to have to, like I said, move back to Zanesville and really ask for help and struggle with coming from where I was at and kind of hitting rock bottom, going down and like basically restarting my life as a 27, 28-year-old man. I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is not what I want out of my life. This is the most humbling thing I've ever had to go through. And the structure that I built during that time, it removed all excuses. I had no excuses for achieving the things that I wanted to achieve. Because at the end of the day, there was no outside pressures. There was no noise. I was in Zanesville. If anyone's ever been to Zanesville, there's nothing to do. I was living at my parents' house. There was nothing to do whatsoever. I'm not going to the local bars because, for one, most of the time I didn't want anyone to know I was back in Zanesville. And it has nothing to do with Zanesville. Zanesville is a great place. But for me in my life, I never imagined moving back to Zanesville. I never imagined being back there because it's not what I wanted. That's not what I said I was going to do. And for me, it was humbling and it was embarrassing at times because I needed to be humbled. I needed to hit rock bottom and I needed to come to the grips of reality that, hey, bud, this is real life and it can kick you in the face, in the teeth real fast. If you're not prepared and you're not willing to push through the adversity, this is exactly where you're going to be. If you don't change for the rest of your life, you're going to be stuck here and you're going to continue to be in this pattern of bad habits and poor discipline. So for me, it was a wake up call and being able to create that plan and understand that, hey, this structure is going to create success down the line. Maybe if I don't see it right away, but it's eventually going to help me get to where I want to go. And that takes us into point number 5. Surround yourself with the reliable people. For me, that was my friends and my mom. And just there were a couple older people in the area that I looked up to, a couple coaches, and just seeing their example and following how they acted and how they went about their lives and how they treated their wives and how they showed up for the people in their community. That's what I wanted to be. I wanted to be that example. I wanted to be the person that people counted on. I wanted to be reliable. And having the group of friends that I had to be able to make sure that I showed up, because at the end of the day, I needed to show up for them because they were counting on me. If I didn't show up for them, it was going to tarnish our relationship probably for the rest of our lives. And being able to have that, and I know my group of friends and I, we had some hard conversations at times, and looking back on those, yeah, they were probably very uncomfortable for them, and because they were uncomfortable for me. But being able to have that respect for each other and know at the end of the day that it's bigger than our friendship. They just wanted me to be okay. They wanted to make sure that I lived up to the potential that I had, and being able to see that it was my fault allowed me to be in that situation, I think, and really be humbled because it wasn't their fault. It wasn't my mom's fault. It wasn't anyone else's fault but my own. And I took that and I was able to use them, I think, as a source of motivation, and just knowing that if I let them down, it was going to ruin our friendship. It was going to ruin the way we interacted with each other. And that's something I didn't want to happen. I really valued that friendship and I valued what we had built for so many years from playing sports together, and just the love that I have for those guys is more than me ruining a friendship and letting them down. And I think the last thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is you have to be willing to be selfish. And I don't mean everything's about me. Everybody should cater to me. This is my life. This is my world. Not selfish in that fact, but selfish in the sense of you won't grow if you're constantly trying to please other people. If you're constantly trying to seek validation of others, you're going to continue to be in the situation that you're in. You have to be confident and self-reliant. You have to be able to say no, be able to kind of go a different path, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with people being mad and people being upset with you, because at the end of the day, your happiness, your mental, physical, emotional health is what matters. And if you're not selfish in that sense, you be 100% focused on the things that you're going after. It's really hard and it's really difficult to do. I was so comfortable with saying no to others. I just found so much peace in being alone. And I found happiness with myself again and who I was and what I wanted to do. I know it's hard to do to be alone at times, but I kind of fell in love with going to work, going home, eating, waking up in the morning, going to the gym. I fell in love with just that routine and I kind of did it alone. I didn't work out with other people. I enjoyed just the process of being by myself and figuring out what does Granger like to do? Who is Granger? Because I have so many people telling me who I am, and I have a false sense of reality of what people think I am or who I think I am. And I was someone completely different during that time of me being mixed up and going out and seeking the validation of others. I completely lost who I was. I had a false sense of who Granger was. And now being by myself and going through that time of focus and just being alone and enjoying that, I found out who I was and what I liked. And I think that's the best part about growing and developing and going through the process is you truly understand who you are and the things that you like to do. A- And being selfish, it's gonna suck to be alone and it's gonna suck to be 100% focused. But I promise you, at the end of the day, it's so worth it. You grow so much. It takes sacrifice. You're gonna sacrifice time. You're gonna sacrifice the comfort. And it's sometimes gonna take away certain relationships from you. But if you're willing to go the distance and willing to put in the work on yourself, the results are going to be so incredible. And that's one thing I can tell you now of going through this whole thing was what I got out of doing that changed my life for the better. I got my fiance, I got my two little girls, and I have a life right now where I'm proud of. I'm proud of the person I am. I'm proud of the way that I show up. I'm proud of my friendships. Do we talk every day? No, but I know in my heart that I showed up for them and they'll show up for me. And if I called one of them right now and I needed something, they would be here in a heartbeat and vice versa. We rebuilt that relationship. And to me, knowing that in my head and knowing that we're good is something that I'll never change. I'll never change anything I went through. If I could go back in time, because I needed to be humbled, I needed to go through this process of self development and learning how to love myself again and learning the confidence of you're okay with being this guy. It's okay to be this guy. It's okay to like the things you like. It's okay to do the things you want to do. And you just kind of have to learn about yourself and grow through that process. I just, I I think the main thing in this is you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to go through the journey and the process alone and be able to be okay with that. Be okay with people not liking you. Be okay with not getting invited places sometimes. You have to be okay with going through the suck because that's what it is. It wasn't fun. I'll tell you that right now. There was some nights that I would lay in my bed at my parents' house and wow, I hated it. I was miserable. But every single day I woke up one more time, got up, went to the gym, went to work, came home, ate, and repeat over and over again for a solid year and a half, almost 2 years. And sometimes I miss it because it was a grind and it was fun. I learned so much and gained so much perspective that you really become appreciative of some of the things that people go through in life and learn to put yourself in other people's shoes because life will kick you in the mouth so fast. At the end of the day, change really isn't complicated. You just have to keep it simple. And it's hard. It's not complicated. It's hard. Most people quit before they ever see what they're capable of doing. I can't imagine looking back and quitting on something that gave me everything that I have now. Like in that present time, if I would have been able to see my future, yeah, that would have been real easy. But knowing that there was the potential of the future that I have now, then was what got me through. Just relying on that hope and that future of it's going to get better. Each and every single day is a step in the right direction. I think what we can do to take away some of the self-doubt that we have is be practical. Be understanding that you aren't going to achieve everything in one day. Take 10 minutes and just sit alone and reflect. Reflect on the things that you're struggling with. Be honest with yourself. What situation are you currently in that is causing negative behaviors in your life? Take that one thing and understand that's what I need to change. If you could take that one thing and apply it to every aspect of your life and see, okay, this affects this, this affects this, this affects this. And by the time you've sat through that 10 minutes and it's affecting 3/4 of your life, that's probably the thing that you need to change. That's probably the thing that you need to look at a little further and write down these actionable steps of how can I do this? What can I do to make sure that I'm taking this habit, I'm taking this negative energy that I'm constantly putting into all these aspects of my life. How do I pull that out and become the person that I want to be? Because once you identify what's affecting everything, then it's just practical. Okay, what can I do? I stop going here. I stop going there. I stop hanging out with this person. I remove myself from this group of people. Maybe I reach out to this group of people. Maybe I ask for help in this area of my life. Whatever it may be, just be practical. You don't have to do all these different things or analyze every single moment. You just have to find common denominator between everything that's gone wrong. I promise it's probably one or two things. For me, it was constantly going out and being around a certain group of people. It seemed that every time I did those things, negative things were happening in my life. So Granger, what should you do? I should probably remove myself from those situations. Yeah, it's easier said than done. But I think we don't even take the time to sit down and think about those things. Once you do that, life becomes a lot easier. You're able to kind of move forward and now work on your life and work on the habits that you want to build in a positive manner. That was a lot today. That was a lot, but it's good. I hope I can keep sharing some of these things with you guys as I'm still in the process. I'm still growing. I'm still learning, but these are practical steps that you can take to really understand who you're supposed to be. What do you like to do? What are things that are affecting you in a negative way? Because if you're a dad or you're a mom out there and you have kids and you have things that are affecting you, it's going to soon start to affect them as well. If you're going in to parenting with negative habits or a vice, at a certain point, no matter how much you think you can control it, it's going to affect your children or the ones that you love. I've learned that the hard way. Not with my girls, but in previous relationships I've had, I've affected people that honestly didn't deserve to be affected. And my behaviors of how I interacted with them and treated them, it wasn't fair. It wasn't right. And for me to sit here and say that I was a person of good character and someone that should be respected, that would be a lie, because I was everything but that. And yeah, there were some situations that I was in that we just weren't a good match and we brought the worst out in each other. But at the end of the day, I have to take responsibility for my actions and I have to own up to the things that I did. I'm not perfect. We all have flaws and vices, but it's being able to not play the victim and look yourself in the mirror and be able to say that I made a mistake. I'm in the wrong. What can I do moving forward to change that? Our Bible verse of the day before we end, 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24 through 27. Do not know that in a race all the runners run, but only one gets the prize. Run in such a way as to get the prize. Everyone who competes in the games goes into strict training. They do it to get a crown that will not last, but we do it to get a crown that will last forever. Therefore, I do not run like someone running aimlessly. I do not fight like a boxer beating the air. No, I strike a blow to my body and make it slave, so that after I have preached to others, I myself will not be disqualified for the prize. Run in such a way to get the prize. This is about intention, not just showing up, not just getting through the day, but actually living on purpose. We have to live on purpose. You should wake up every single morning. And I know it's hard to be positive and energetic, but you should live on purpose. We get 24 hours in a day. What are we going to do with those? If you say you want to change your life, your actions have to reflect that. The things that you do, the way that you act, the things that you say, it can't just be all talk. It has to be actionable items to move the needle and continue to move forward every single day. You have to move like it matters. There's no one else that's coming to do the work for you. If you want to change, you have to get up, you have to accept the fact that you messed up, and you have to change. You have to find the process. You have to go through the journey. You have to be able to look yourself in the mirror, like I said, take responsibility, and you have to be willing to make the change. Everyone who competes goes into strict training. This is where most people fall off. Change isn't just motivation. It's discipline. Discipline is going to carry you when motivation is lacking. I promise you. If you tell yourself you're going to wake up at 3 a.m. every morning and go to the gym, I don't care how many motivational videos you listen to the night before, when it hits about day 3 or 4, you're going to be real sick of waking up at 3 a.m. So what's going to get you through that? You've got to find the discipline and build that within yourself to keep moving forward, to keep waking up at 3 a.m., to keep walking outside when it's the middle of December and it's -2 degrees, getting in your cold car and going to the gym. You have to make that choice that that's what you're going to do. Because no matter the amount of motivation you have, when it fades, discipline is what's going to carry you through the line of success. I do not run like someone running aimlessly. You got to have direction. Everyone in this world is busy. Everyone has something going on. But they're not going anywhere. Most people are so caught up in the busyness of everyday life. Where are you going? What is your direction? Where are you off to? What are the things that you're trying to accomplish in this day? You have no intention on the way that you're moving. You're doing things out of desperation instead of necessity. You have to have that plan. You have to have structure behind what you're doing, or you're going to continue moving in circles. I strike a blow to my body and make it my slave. This is control, not letting your emotions, comfort, or excuses run your life. You run your life. Your emotions don't run your life. Your excuses don't run your life. The comfort of everyday life does not run your life. You intentionally run your life every single day. You make that choice. You understand what you have to do. You're not always going to feel like doing what's required to change. But when you choose to do it anyways, the feeling that you have after that, I promise, feels so good. You feel so empowered. You have so much confidence. You're stacking an undeniable amount of proof that you are exactly who you say you are. And you could take everything in this world away from me, but I promise you, I am exactly who I say I am. You cannot take that away from me. You cannot take the fact that I've put in the work. I've done the necessary things that I've needed to do to make the change in my life that I've needed to make. I'm still growing. I'm still changing. I'm still evolving. But I've put in the work, and I will continue to put in the work, because at the end of the day, it's not just about me. I have 3 girls that are counting on me to show up every single day and be the man that I say I am, so that I will not be disqualified for the prize. This is accountability. Not just talking about it, like I said, it's living it. At the end of the day, consistency is what qualifies you for the life that you say you want. I promise the needle will continue to move forward. Step by step, day by day, intention by intention, the needle will move forward. I hope this episode has helped you guys. It's given you life. It's giving you some sort of direction in the way to go about your life. If you could, it would help me out a lot. Share this, leave a review, leave a comment. I appreciate you being here. This is Between the Reps, and I'll see you next week. Have a good week, everybody.